Hey everybody, thanks for listening. This is the Hack and Chill podcast. It's not the same old questions because we like to be just as surprised as you are.
I think I just threw up in my mouth a little bit.
That's the best piece of shit I've ever seen.
I just peed my pants!
I'm the best that's ever been.
Hi everybody, thanks for joining us for another episode of the Hack and Chill podcast. As always, with me is Tony Hack Covington.
Hi, kids.
Man of great stature at 5'3".
Hey, 5'7".
And today we definitely have an amazing guest, and it's going to be a great time. We've actually been sitting here bullshitting for a long time. Late starting the podcast, we have the great Jeremy Sumerall.
Howdy. I hope I can live up to that fucking intro. I don't know about great.
No fucking pressure, bro.
That was a fucking red carpet for you, Jeremy. You nailed it.
Hey, at risk of sounding like plugging something, before we pick, we were discussing Pickaxe. Have you seen it, Tony?
Pickaxe?
Yeah.
No, I have not seen it yet,
fucking
man.
Loser. It is a great movie.
I know. I've got to watch some of the shit, but I haven't got to sit down and watch the entire movie yet. You've already gave me shit about this before. It wasn't that long ago. You were like, you haven't fucking watched Pickaxe yet. And I was like, no. And you were like, God damn it. And then you were like, I need a Dr. Pepper Easy Ice. You're at the grocery line. You were just like, fuck you. Almost like tonight. I'm running a high fever. About died. I don't have COVID. And I do not have the flu. If something else is wrong, I got to go back to the doctor. I'm sitting in a bathtub trying to break it. And Jake's like, fuck you, we got a podcast. And Jeremy's on. I was like, well, let me get out. I'm ready to do it.
Yeah, but you should have gone and got Monostat by now. So,
I think I did.
Might make for a more interesting podcast if you actually stayed in the tub, though.
No, he's done that. He did that on the test episode. I was like, you can't fucking do that.
Yeah, the demo episode, I'm in the tub. And I'm like, I'm trying not to drop the camera down.
Yeah.
So, that exists.
Nice.
And I gotta ask this, because this is becoming a thing. Looking at Eric Exton, looking at Jake, looking at Jeremy, there's a certain look to filmmakers now.
Talking about the glorious, the beard. It's funny.
You ain't got a shaved head, and you ain't got a beard, and I'm not just talking about lumberjack. I'm talking about borderline wizard, almost in God mode beard, and fucking glasses. I do have glasses. They're in the house. I got part of that. Then you're not creative.
No, and it's funny because a friend of mine, Heather Buckley, actually picked up on that a few years back. I can't remember what it was she was talking about on Facebook, but she mentioned something about a filmmaker beard.
Yes.
And she started like going down the list of like all these particularly independent filmmakers that are just like these gigantic fucking beards, I think like Jason Eisner, who did Hobo with a Shotgun, and I think he executive produces Dark Side of the Ring now.
Yes.
Like he was on the list, and then, I think she threw me in there. She was like, great filmmaker beard. And I'm like, I didn't think anything of it until later on. And a lot of us, we've got to look, it's almost like there's a painter cap that Robert Rodriguez kind of popularized. I'm not wearing one right now. I'm wearing a baseball cap, but it says Kevin Smith. But that's very, very indicative of like the indie filmmaker uniform. Like we have to wear our Robert Rodriguez painter's cap and the big beard and the shaved head and the glasses and all that shit. What can I say? I'm a walking cliche. Whatever.
The people at home can't see, but if anybody sees these people, they're the best people on the planet. Fucking gotta be some of the most creative ever. They're fucking twinsies right now. It's weird. Put the hat back. I don't know who's.
Change your name, we'll fuck him up.
We've even got the lower fucking tattoos on
Yeah.
our arms and shit. You know.
Yeah.
It's
Hey,
the
I'm working
dress
on a full
code.
sleeve, though, God damn it.
Oh, me too. Got that TXDM right there.
Fucking matching tattoos. You shitting me?
Well, you know, next weekend at Texas Frightmare, there's going to be a lot of us out there like that. You know, the bald, the beard, the tattoos. You know, again, it's our uniform. It's our way of life. You know, like I guess metalheads and punkers have their, you know, the leather jackets and the spikes and all that fun shit. We've got
That's what I wear.
we've got the bald head, the beards, and the tattoos. So
Yeah. I feel like it just kind of goes with the territory. You can't make movies and not lose your fucking hair.
Oh, yeah. Like when I started, actually, I was bald when I started. Now that I think about it, I purposely shaved my head before I ever got involved in film. That's probably why I got the gig. Why I actually got involved in film, because I'm like, he looks like a filmmaker.
Yeah, he looks like he could do this shit. Look at him.
Who are we gonna find to film this? Hey, you
That
right
guy.
there. That guy.
That guy right there. No, that was like pure happenstance. You know, I think that's how I got the gig doing my first movie. Seriously, like I was bald, I was bearded, and I was fucking fat. So they're like, "All right, that looks like a guy we want to kill people on camera." So done.
So
Man, Jeremy, you mentioned going out to Detroit.
Yeah.
Tell me, man, Detroit ain't a whole lot of fun. It's great. It's got a bad rap, man. Southwest Detroit can be a little like, oh shit, I shouldn't be out this late.
It's funny. My experience in Detroit is actually pretty minimal. My partner Rachel, she actually excuse me, she's originally from Detroit. She moved down here with me earlier this year, but I've only visited Detroit 3-4 times, something like that, and for the most part we've been like just kind of at her apartment and like her little, you know, 5 or 10 mile radius, you know, like her parents' house and like her local shops and stuff. Because, you know, we were doing this during the time of COVID too, so it was like it was easier for her to visit me than it was for me to visit her.
Yeah.
So for the most part, like my experience in Detroit has been very limited. I'm excited this time because, excuse me, I'm a big hockey fan, and I'll be going and seeing the Detroit Red Wings and the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Yes.
The Penguins are my fucking team, but I'm going to be going with 3 Red Wings fans, so I'm going to have to play nice, you know. But I'll get to see their arena there and witness a hockey game in Detroit, you know, because it's a legendary hockey town, right?
Yes.
So yeah, I'm excited to get to do some Detroit things finally, other than just, you know, going shopping, going to Starbucks, that kind of
Man,
stuff.
yeah.
trust me, there's so much to do. I'm there and you're talking about the Red Wings, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's some legendary fucking Red Wings players. And I'm just hanging out and partying with them. I'll walk into a gas station, walk up to the counter. Here's a liquor cabinet. Here's all the pot that you can imagine on this side. The candy's below me. And then all the tobacco's up front. And I was like, I don't even have to see the rest of the store. Just right here at the counter. I was like, this place is awesome. Car's broken. I'm walking down the street with just all kinds of goodies in my hands. There's no baguette sticking out of the bag, but there's like, you know, liquor bottles sticking out.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, you need a ride? I'm like, everybody's so friendly. Then I'm thinking, well, I'm glad I didn't take that ride.
Right.
But man, I always have the best time there. All those people there. I love them in Detroit.
Yeah. It's funny you mentioned the weed thing because, you know, like I said, my partner Rachel came from Detroit where weed is legal, and she moved down here where it's not, you know, and everybody's like, why the hell would you move somewhere where it is not legal? And she's like, I don't know, love makes you do crazy things, I guess.
Yeah. Come down and be like, hey, I just got back from the grocery store. I got the carrots, but they didn't have any pot there. I asked a couple of people, and they just looked at me funny. Well, man, I'm in East Tennessee. I'm in Knoxville. And when I say I'm in the Bible Belt, I'm the fucking buckle. Nothing is legal here. I mean, you can't even curse that loud. Right before we started, when I was getting my stopwatch, when I was telling you guys, I was like, "Oh, I'll be right back." It's because in the studio here, I got the door open, and there's a giant fucking raccoon just standing there staring at me like, "What the fuck are you doing, man? I'm trying to sneak the cat food. Like, you ain't supposed to be out here." So, yeah, man, nothing is here. Like, Kentucky's beating us. I love you, Kentucky, but how do you beat us? How do you beat Tennessee? Like, they're making medical marijuana already. Yeah, and I'm like, what the fuck? Are we just going to stay in the Stone Age here?
Yeah,
like,
I think Oklahoma. Didn't Oklahoma just legalize medicinal marijuana or something?
Yeah, yes. New Mexico just went recreational like 2 weeks ago.
And meanwhile, Texas, love my state, but I do not like the fucking government here whatsoever. Especially with all the fucking archaic, ridiculous medieval fucking laws they're passing right now against women. It makes me sick to my fucking stomach. They want to talk about freedom and all equality and all that shit, and it's bullshit. It's just all fucking bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, dude, do you realize we still have in Texas on the books, if somebody steals a horse or cattle rustles, we hang them?
Yeah,
that's still on our fucking books, man.
It's still on the books that you can't own more than 6 dildos, I think.
Yeah, and sodomy is illegal.
Yeah, and you know what's fucked up is that sodomy is considered oral or anal.
Yeah.
So fuck y'all. Oh, fucking
yeah.
No blowjobs. No blowjobs and only 6 dildos.
Yeah,
you got to get the fuck out of there.
Yeah, if you buy a 7th, something's wrong. You're going to be throwing it. But how do they enforce that shit?
Yeah, exactly.
Seriously, they got to come in your fucking bedroom and all right, let's take a look at your chest, your fucking toy chest.
No, the census guy comes out and he's like, I just got a couple of questions. How many outlets do you have in your home? Well, 20. How many dildos you got? Huh? Start hammering you, turns off the lights, put one light on you.
Yeah, they're like, you have 7 and go to court.
Now, wait, what if you have one that's double-ended? Does that count as 2? Or you got to lose one of your extras? Now are you down to 5?
There was one that I saw, and I my brain is Swiss cheese right now with this movie prep and shit, but there was one that I saw yesterday that was I don't know if it was a fucking cartoon, meme, some shit, or if it was legit, but it was called the Coctopus, and it was literally an octopus, but it had 8 fucking dildos.
Dude, I saw that.
And I'm like, okay, if you bought that, I mean, is that considered 1 or is that considered 8? In the state of Texas, would that be illegal?
In Texas, I guarantee you they would make that illegal.
Well, it's got to count as 1. It's 1. It's an octopus.
Right. It's 1. 1. But again, to your question about the double-ended dildo, is that 1 or 2? The cocktopus, it's all 1 unit, but it's not all 1 unit.
Yeah, but if you think about this logic, y'all keep calling it an octopus. Wouldn't it be an octocock?
It's a cocktopus. It's a cocktopus.
Okay.
Of course. Man, and it's strange because like the areas too, especially where I'm at, Knoxville, is one of the most diverse towns in the country. I mean, you got bikers standing right next to hipsters, and then everybody from Massachusetts and New York is all living here too. And it's so diverse, all the different races, all the different sexes, all the different genders, whatever you want to say, all together, everybody, all together, and everybody's pretty cool. But we still have outdated laws. Now, some I don't want to get rid of because Tennessee, when you get here, it's almost like Texas. They're like, here's your gun. Yeah. Do I need a permit or sign anything? They're like, what the fuck are you talking about? Just take it. You can open carry, you can carry a machete off your back like a fucking Leonardo from the Ninja Turtles, 2 cross swords. It's fine. They don't care. But don't be smoking a fucking joint or anything else. Weapons are fine. Just don't be going to an R-rated movie.
You can open carry an AR-15, but you can't open carry a double-ended dildo.
Yes.
That's what it boils down to.
I don't know, man. I'd be kind of scared of that dude with the double-ended dildo, though.
I mean, that's someone you don't want to fuck with. Literally.
Exactly. Got a motherfucker the size of your arm just slapping people.
Yeah. If he has that or the AR, and be like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna fight that guy with the AR.
Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah. Take your chances with the guy with the AR-15, not the dude with the double-ended dildo, because that dude has seen some shit.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yes. Well, the last fight he got into, and he's still walking around with it, he won. He won.
God damn it.
I don't know how we even do this podcast. Every episode, I'm like, well, we're fucked right there, Jake. It's over.
Yeah. That was what did it right there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
The fuck. Oh, you know what's hilarious is we didn't even touch on the subject. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Touch on the sub. What? Oh.
Yeah, on the subject of the podcast, not the dildos. Sorry.
How many dildos is too many?
Got sidetracked by dildos. I don't know.
That, you know what? That anytime I'm involved in any kind of interview or any kind of anything, it always winds up coming back to that. I bring it out of everybody. Like everybody's inner perv comes out when I'm around, I guess. You know?
Mine's always out anyway.
So is mine. Yeah, it's funny though, because like I try very desperately to like be sex positive and body positive and all that stuff, but when people only see me as that one thing, it bums me the fuck out.
Right.
You know, just because I talk about it a lot, you know, pretty much all the time, trying to normalize some shit so people can stop feeling shame for what they're into. Yeah. You know, as long as no one's getting hurt unless it's consensual hurt, you know?
Yeah.
And I try and be as loud as possible so that people can identify with that and you know, say like, well, fuck, if he's that fucking out and loud about it, then maybe I can be too, you know? And I'm not trying to say that I'm fucking curing cancer or any shit like that, but you know, we have a very limited time on this earth. We should fucking live to, you know, the fullest in whatever we choose. As long as we're not hurting anybody. Right.
I agree with that 100%.
That's my passion, really, is you know, having people. I've had so many people come to me and talk to me privately about the shit that I do talk about publicly, particularly on my Facebook and stuff. Yeah. And say, you know, because you're, you know, so public about this stuff, I've been able to go to my partners and talk about things that I felt shame about. And I feel like I'm living, you know, more openly and honestly now. And I'm like, well, that's why I do it. That is huge to me. You know, like, keep all your fucking awards, keep all your money, all that shit. If I can change somebody in some small little way, then I'm fucking happy.
Yeah, and we've been friends on Facebook for quite a while, and I've seen all that you're talking about, and I've always taken it as a great positive fucking kind of force that I enjoy seeing all the people commenting, and you know, I think what you're doing there is really good, and you are helping people.
I try, man. I really do. You know,
and especially because the newer generation, the younger generation, these guys are so lost in the chaos of the time that they don't know how to feel about anything. And there's a lot of social breakdown, I feel, in the modern era, where they don't have that time like we had, where we had all that personal. Like my kids, man, they don't like go hang out with their friends per se. They hang out with their friends online.
Yes.
And that makes it really awkward, I think, for them to have a real kind of conversation. And I think somebody like you putting out the stuff that you do really helps to get to them on that platform that they're so comfortable with.
Well, yeah, I and thank you for saying that, because, you know, there are times where I'll put stuff out there, and I, like, just recently I had a bad breakup. If anyone is not aware, I am polyamorous. I have multiple romantic relationships. Currently, I actually only have one, my nesting partner. However, I was dating someone recently, and it ended, and it was tough. It was really fucking tough on me, and I got in this really dark kind of hole about relationships in general, platonic, romantic, sexual, whatever they may be. And thankfully, I had someone actually just today messaged me and said, "Hey, do you have the spoons to talk about something kind of fucked up and emotional right now?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah, what's going on?" And they relayed to me that they just had a polyamorous breakup as well. And they said, "No, none of my friends will get this. I know I can come to you about it." And they started telling me these details, and I was like, okay, wow, that sounds very similar to something that I went through. So this is what I did. And that started making me feel better because I was helping somebody else. And afterwards, she thanked me, and she was like, again, none of my friends really know what's going on. Like, they have one view of what being polyamorous is, and they don't get it. So she couldn't go to anyone else, and yeah, I've been kind of down in the dumps over the last month. I try not to put too much negative shit out on my Facebook, but it gets kind of lonely doing that too.
Right.
Because if you are always positive, it's fake.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I will put stuff on my Facebook saying like I'm kind of struggling occasionally. Only if it's like really bad, But then I'll have people come and talk to me and say, "Hey, because you were willing to talk about the struggles that you have, I feel so much better about my position because now I feel like I can talk to someone about it." And that is the world to me. Like, again, money is one thing, fame, any of that shit, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Like the fact that I can use whatever platform I have to put some good out into the universe, then that's all I can really hope for, is that I'm putting it out and hopefully it's coming back, and so far it's happening. So
yeah, I think you're doing a lot of good, man. I really do.
Well, we just got really deep on Maine, didn't we?
That's what we do. We go from laughing to crying,
yes,
to heartfelt Titanic moments, and then we go back into some more dumb shit about peeing on yourself on Mars.
Yeah.
but what you're saying is absolutely true, man, and it does help people, and people want to do that. But that's the thing; everything's almost trivial now, and almost has like meaningless. Like Jake was saying about the kids not socially interacting in groups of people. When you don't do that, then you don't really, like when you communicate on social media and you don't socialize with other people like growing up, then you miss the whole maturity thing, because like people see me and they see the persona thing and they're like, oh, there's just this gun-toting like redneck crazy man. But the thing is, I'm so accepting. Like anybody trans or of a different race is anything, I've never felt anything bad or different towards them.
Right.
Just the people, because I've always been around them, or I'm always out doing stuff. And I like everybody. I love meeting people. I love talking to people. I like having fun. I don't hurt nobody. But all the stereotypes when people say, well, this is the person that's bad, they hate everybody. I'm like, I fit all those, but I'm none of those.
Right.
And then on the platforms, like, it's kind of hard, man, because like you said, as long as it's not hurt nobody, why not do it? And then like, I want to make trash TV. I want to make the shit that makes Jerry Springer blush. And every platform's like, no.
Yeah. Or
change this, do that. And I'm like, I don't want to, no integrity. I was like, I don't want to have it. It don't need integrity. It should have zero. Like, why can't I do this? Like, what is the problem? Like, who is it hurting? I don't say anything racial. I don't say anything sexist. I was like, I just want to show boobs covered in blood. What's wrong with that?
That's my whole fucking thing too. Like, the reason why I branded myself as a Texploitation flick maker is because I wanted to remove that sense of pretense, right? Like, I've been on numerous podcasts for filmmaking and stuff, indie film and whatnot. And one of the big things that everybody always talks about is being a filmmaker. And I'm like, I don't want to be a filmmaker. To me, that sounds pretentious. I want to make flicks, like popcorn flicks, like exploitation, boobs and blood, and like if someone wants to sit there and go like, what's your mission statement here? Like, what are you trying to say politically? I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Like, take from this whatever you want. Like, I mean, yes, I love entertainment that can be really heady and deep, like George Romero films, right? Like, you can watch them as socio-political commentary, or you can watch a bunch of fucking zombies tearing people's heads off.
Exactly.
And it's one movie. Like, I love that. And that's what I love about the horror and exploitation genres, is that you can put a subliminal kind of fucking political message in there. But if you don't want to hear the political message, you can just enjoy it as a popcorn flick.
They live with Rowdy Piper.
That's one of the most political. Yeah, it's one of the most political movies out there. But you can also just watch it to see Rowdy Piper and Keith David beat the living shit out of one another. In a back alley over a fucking pair of sunglasses.
That was the best scene ever.
Totally, man. And the funny thing about that is John Carpenter on the director's chair with Robert Rodriguez, which I wish he would do more of those, man, because that fucking series is just so good, inspiring for a filmmaker. But John Carpenter said that the script for They Live, when it got to that scene, it literally said the fight continues for like 5 pages. And that's all it said, like the fight continues, the fight continues, the fight continues. And so he took Rowdy Piper aside and was like, all right, you and Keith David go figure it out. We'll just roll camera. And they just beat the living shit out of one another for 5 minutes, and it's genius.
Well, that's what Piper does. He fights people for 15 to an hour long for a living. That's what he
and I'm such a fucking huge mark to like go and listen to, wrestlers that I grew up on talking about like their classic matches, like Ricky Steamboat talking about the match that he had, I think it was WrestleMania 3 with Randy Macho Man Savage, and how they had like 20 pages or something of handwritten notes of like each little fucking move, like the psychology behind every little thing. And then they put it on, and it was like an hour-long fucking just 5-star match. And I'm like, that's what revs my fucking engines. Like it's performance art. It's entertainment. It's everything. It's a soap opera for men. It's not just for men. It's for everyone. And dude, again, at the end of the day, like, we've only got this one fucking life to live, right? We've only got a short amount of time on this planet. Let's just fucking do something that makes us happy, for those 5 fucking seconds, and makes us forget about how miserable everything else is out there. You know what I mean? Like, that's why it's horror movies, exploitation movies, fucking pro wrestling and metal music and mosh pit, all that fucking fun shit,
Well, yes. I've been a professional wrestler since like 2005.
Oh,
but it's time. Yeah, that shit's got to go away. It's like, fuck. Dude, it's fun. It's fun when you're out there.
Yeah.
Because you got the live crowd, and you fucking puppet their fucking emotions by reading them in the moment. You got to read everybody in the moment, and then you fucking work them. That's just so much fun when you get them like moving around. But everything outside of that is just a pain in the fucking ass. But you're right about the movies, man. The flicks and stuff like that, like Jake's movies. I can't plug.
Nope.
Someone I know made movies. And I watched them, and I'm like, I fucking love these, because I don't have to like... I don't like drama movies. I don't want to watch Meet Joe Black when he's taking fucking guy around showing him. I don't want to watch that shit. It's just not for me. But I like it when I can sit back and chill and just watch something and just have fun and enjoy myself and just see all this crazy stuff. So I love these movies. And then whenever like they were telling me about something else they were doing, they were like, "Hey, do you want to be a part on it?" I jumped on a fucking airplane and was like, I'm at the front door in this fucking horrible place called Odessa. Fucking burn this bitch off the map, but I'm here for you, buddy. Now, I love everybody in Odessa, but god damn.
Now, I do have to say, and this kind of brings me back to where I was going with the actual point of the podcast, the subject matter.
Oh yeah.
But that was a really good segue. Half an hour into this,
That's how I roll, baby.
That's how we do. So, so you're talking about how you don't really care that much for drama or serious kind of movies, and I would agree 95% of the time. But that brings me into, I had to mention, Jeremy, you shared a post the other day, and I had to comment on it, and you had the best answer. It was about pick a director, and I'll tell you my favorite movie from him. And I said Edgar Wright.
Yes.
Do you remember what you said?
Oh.
Oh my God!
Well, I know I had to have said Baby Driver, right?
Yes.
And that I would say Baby Driver right now, but I would need to rewatch Last Night in Soho.
See, I haven't got to see Last Night in Soho yet.
So I saw Last Night in Soho in the theater, and I was completely fucking mesmerized from frame one. Number one, Edgar Wright is one of my favorite filmmakers. Like,
he is
period.
Fucking
like,
phenomenal, dude.
Yes.
To this point, I've not seen one thing that he has done that I have had anything negative to say about it.
Mm-mm.
Like, the only thing negative I could say about Baby Driver is that Kevin Spacey is in it. I love Kevin Spacey as an actor, but since it's come out that he's a rapist piece of shit, okay, like, not a good dude. Fair. Yeah. But everything else about Baby Driver is just fucking genius.
What about that fucking one shot?
Oh my God. And the thing about it is that
beautiful.
He does those so effortlessly. Like, have you watched the behind the scenes on Baby Driver?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay. So when they're talking about that oneer, they did it something like 27 times or something, and it's like a 5-minute oneer or something. It's some like ridiculously long oneer. Like, basically they had to block out an entire day to do it.
Yeah.
But that's just the genius of Edgar Wright. So Last Night in Soho has a lot of that type of shit in it. But the great thing about it is it's not comedic in the slightest. It is dark. It is serious, and he said, had he not done Baby Driver, which was a bit more serious than his other films, he would not have been able to do Last Night in Soho. Last Night in Soho is an idea he had for like 20 years.
Yeah, I knew that.
He wasn't confident enough as a serious filmmaker to make a dramatic horror movie. And it is a horror movie. It's basically a giallo. It's basically a giallo, and there's some shit in that cinematography wise, I'm just like floored. Because like there's some stuff with mirrors, and there's stuff where there's like, the basic plot, like this girl is in the modern day London, and she starts having dreams that she's in the 1960s London. And so there's moments where her character is living in a different person's body, but they start switching back and forth in the middle of the scene, like while they're dancing. And I'm like, that's an insane amount of choreography, not just between the actors doing the dance, but the fucking cinematographer having to move the Steadicam or something. So I really want to sit down with that movie and just like take an entire day, watch the movie once. If it has commentary, watch it a second time with commentary, then watch all of the behind the scenes. And that's what I feel like we're going to lose soon if people don't start supporting physical media more. I get on my fucking high horse about physical media versus streaming.
Yes.
I've talked on Blue in the face on that shit. I am a huge proponent of physical media, even though I do a lot of streaming now because I have decent enough internet to do it. It can't be the only option. It cannot be the only option.
Yeah.
That's why I love like Vinegar Syndrome and Arrow and Severin and all these boutique labels taking these old forgotten movies and doing them right. And so we're gonna lose all those extras that
Yes.
I mean, fuck, that was my film school.
Yeah.
Was watching extras,
Yep.
watching commentaries and stuff. You know, like, I mean, I still have the desire to go to a film school, but that was what got me off my ass to make my first film, was watching the Robert Rodriguez DVDs.
Yes.
You know, like watching his 10-minute film schools and go, fuck, I can do that. You know, like that's what gave me the fucking balls. I mean, who knows if I'm any good at it, but at least gave me the balls to get off my ass and go try it, you know? So, so Last Night in Soho, I mean, fucking great. But the only reason why I didn't say it's my favorite is because I've literally seen it once. Yeah. And I literally just watched Baby Driver for like the 300th time, like just a couple days ago.
Yeah.
Like and honestly, before Baby Driver, it might have been maybe Scott Pilgrim. Because, dude, Scott Pilgrim, first time I saw it,
wow.
I bought the Blu-ray. I didn't see it in the theater. I bought the Blu-ray. I watched it 5 times in the first 3 days. The minute I finished it the first time, I immediately rewatched it. Like, and not even with commentary, just straight. And I was like, that movie is the shit. And so for a long time, Scott Pilgrim was probably my favorite Edgar Wright film. But then Baby Driver came out, and I didn't really know anything about it going in. I mean, I'd seen like a trailer, I think, but I didn't know that it was basically a musical.
Yeah.
You know? And so when I was in the theater, I'm like, wait a minute, like this is all timed to the song that's playing right now.
Yeah.
That wonder.
Yeah.
Did you notice that the graffiti changed with the whole tempo of everything?
Yes.
Did you see that?
Yeah. All of that. I mean, like the and him stopping with the fucking trumpet and playing the little trumpet solo and like
yes,
just everything about that oneer is just, I've got goosebumps thinking about it.
Dude, as soon as I saw it, I stopped it. And I was like, what the fuck? And I backed it up. And I must have watched that shot 10 fucking times. And
I was in the theater. I was watching it in the theater like opening weekend. And I want to say I saw it with my brother because he doesn't so much anymore, but he went with me to a lot of movies over the years. And I want to say that I kind of turned to him and I was like, we're seeing something pretty fucking special right now, right? Like,
yeah.
I mean, that shit's timed to the fucking song. Like every fucking step is like timed to the beat. And the windshield wipers and shit, even in the opening heist, I was like, what the fuck are we, like, holy shit. Cause Edgar Wright, like he does shit like that. Like the sequence in Shaun of the Dead with the Don't Stop Me Now by Queen, when they're like hitting him with the fucking pool cues. But that's kind of easy to do. It's just hitting it with the beat. But then to see that oneer, and he like stops in front of the trumpet in the fucking store window, and it looks like he's actually holding it and playing it. And I'm like, that is timing like you would not fucking believe.
Yeah,
man.
Like
all through the movie, the humming noise in his fucking ear is in the background. You hear it too.
Yeah. And in fact, my ears are shot as shit. So I was like, oh, well, it's just my fucking ears anyway. You know? But even the machine guns being timed to Tequila, you know, and I mean, just, I could gush about Edgar Wright movies in particular, but Baby Driver is just, oh my God.
It's a masterpiece.
It is seriously a fucking masterpiece. And, you know, if it wasn't for John Carpenter's The Thing, I would almost say Baby Driver is my favorite. I mean, it's up there. It is
mine. I've never seen anything that fucking hit me so hard as that movie.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, dude.
Yeah. I could nerd out about that shit for.
And even down to, I just love the fact that he doesn't shoot shit like every fucking body else.
Yes.
I mean, you know, and not to talk shit, but a lot of these newer indie guys, you know, they're worried about shot lists and they're worried about making sure that they don't break that fucking break the 180 rule. And it's like, dude, fuck that. If I'm in a room and I can show the whole fucking room, I'm going to show the whole fucking room. But you could almost take a newer indie guy and write out his fucking shot list if you had his fucking script. Yeah. And you know what he's going to do. And you can't do that with Edgar Wright.
You know, and it's funny because, like, up until the current movie that I'm prepping, I'm not going to plug it. I had never actually done, like, actual shot lists. Like, when we filmed another of my movies, I wasn't my own cinematographer, and we would show up to set, and I'd be like, okay, what are we shooting? And he was like, well, you're the fucking director. And I'm like, I don't know what we're doing. What are you talking about? You know? And so it's kind of a new experience for me to even have a shot list. But it's just for me a way to know that I get my coverage. And I know looking at that fucking shot list, like I'm doing this when we were supposed to film back in January, I was doing the shot list like a couple days before. And I was just like, this person's coverage, this person's coverage, this person's coverage. I'm like, that doesn't even break down all the different shots.
Right.
But I just know, I know when I'm on set what I need to get.
Yeah.
You know, and of course, members of my crew are like, no, dude, you have to like give us some idea what we're doing so we know what the light is. I'm like, look, trust me, we're going to know what we're fucking doing when we show up, you know? So I get the need for shot lists. But yeah, I think you can't be that rigid about it either, because it's a visual medium, and like you show up to set and you see a light hit a piece of like glass or something, and it's like, ooh, that's a really fucking cool flare.
Yeah.
Let me get that, you know? And then, because if you don't, then you lose. Where's the passion?
Yeah.
You know, like if it's literally just nothing but a bunch of two shots, like, oh, I got to get my over the shoulder and I've got to get my two shots.
Yeah.
Like, well, okay, that's fine. So that at the end of the shoot day, you at least have the scene in the can. But you got to be able to be fluid with it, right?
Yeah.
Like, I used to be a musician, and
God damn.
one of my things.
Sorry.
One of my big things was, as a drummer, like, yes, I am there to set the fucking beat, right? But I'm gonna go crazy during it. You know, and if the other musicians can't handle that, then that's on them. You know, like, yes, I'm locking in the fucking beat, and I'll make sure the beat is always fucking solid. But I'm gonna go a little crazy. Like, I have to have that freedom to you know, just be fluid and kind of be organic and amorphous and all that fun shit. You know, like,
that person.
I'm not gonna fucking go off on a tangent and completely fucking do a blast beat in the middle of a country song or something. But
well, why the hell not?
I actually, funny story, I was 18 playing country music in this tiny little fucking town, and I was the youngest person in the band. The oldest was 73, I think. He was the bassist. He and I got along great. I actually called him the Russian Dragon, because if he wasn't Russian the song, he was dragging it. And but each individual member of the band got like a showcase song to like get up and sing or do whatever. And so my showcase song was Wipeout, because that's the only song that featured the drums that all the rest of the band members knew. And I'm not a singer, but I would do Wipeout with double kick and give little old ladies heart attacks in the fucking front row. So for that 5-minute section of that concert every week, I would be a fucking metal god for this tiny little sleepy fucking country town, you know. And we're talking, you know, 27 years ago now that I was doing that shit, because I had just graduated high school. Yeah, fun times.
Yeah.
I do have to say this to everybody listening. Everybody listening is probably enjoying
I know
the
where
podcast.
he's going.
Have fun. Me, I'm sitting over here kind of bugging the fuck out, like, what the fuck is going on? New subject. Everything Jeremy just said about Baby Driver, and then he's like, well, you got to think. It's exactly what Mr. fucking Jake Perry says. Talking about the whole filmmaking process, like, I don't know, all this other shit. That's exactly how this fucker makes films. They look identical. So, the new subject is, everybody listening, we need to get these two motherfuckers to collab on something, please, because I'll probably just fucking be the biggest fucking mark for that ever. Like, everything you just said, Jeremy, word for fucking word on all of it. Then you were like, when I said, God damn, I wasn't like, it wasn't a knock like, I don't want to hear this or nothing. It's just because Jake is like, well, I used to be a musician, and then he tells this story, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So the viewers or not viewers, the listeners are listening and having fun. I'm sitting over here like, the fuck universe split in half. Like, the hell am I doing here? I'm like, this is a fucking weird.
I mean, dude, it's I've had a fucking weird life. I've done a lot of cool shit in my life. Like I was a roadie for a couple of different bands, like fairly well-known bands, including Rob Halford, the singer.
Nice.
I was their drum tech for a minute. But I look back and I'm like, fuck, like I live a fairly simple existence on a tiny little fucking town in, north of Houston with my fucking animals and my, my partner. And, but I look back and I'm like, man, I've done a lot of shit, like not to like stroke my dick here, but I've been name dropped on Howard Stern.
Nice.
That is still one of the coolest things.
That's fucking
ever.
badass.
That would be awesome.
I was not aware of it at the time. Like we had Sal from the Howard Stern show in a movie that I directed. And when he got done filming, first of all, he's fucking amazing. Like his character on Stern is a goofball, and he's totally a goofball, but he's a really fucking sweet dude. And when we got done filming with him and sent him back to New York, we just kept on working on the film. And one day on Facebook, someone said, "Hey, did you realize you were just mentioned on Howard Stern?" I'm like, "Fuck you, get out of here." They posted on YouTube and they're like, "There it is, motherfucker." And so I listened to it and I'm like, what is my goddamn life? Like, I mean, I thought it was cool as shit that Sal, was willing to be in my shitty, my shitty little fucking indie film. But I mean, for that matter, Richard Christie was also originally going to be in the movie too. We weren't SAG, so he was unable to work on it. But the fact that Howard was like, look at you, Sal, like you're, all done up with all this makeup and shit, and you're getting Botox and whatnot. Like, didn't you just get back from doing some fucking movie in Texas? And Sal was like, yeah, I went down there. I was in this movie called Pickaxe. And Howard was like, well, who's the schlep that fucking directed it or whatever? It's some insulting comment, And I'm like, oh my God, I got insulted by Howard Stern.
That is fucking great.
Yeah. And so then Sal mentioned my name, and I'm like, just fucking dead. Like, kill me now. I'm dead. But I still have to clean up my dog's poop. So
yeah, star power.
Like, I can't get a big head about this shit at all. No. Not at all.
No, and that's one of the things I think is funny, man. Like making the whole car crash TV and all the other stuff, and then like you're sitting there and you're getting fucking hammered with like. I'm going to name drop one. You're getting hammered with Clint Howard, and then you're going here. You're in all these different towns. You show up, and you get there. Then you see your fucking sticker on everybody's car, and everybody's like, oh, my God. I'm like, man, this is so weird. I am the most famous poor person on the planet.
Dude, I had a guy just the other day from Germany. Like, a guy probably 10 years ago had messaged me on Facebook because he was a fan of my first. It wasn't my movie. I starred in it. And he was just a big fan and had connected with me through Facebook and, talked to him for a little bit 10 years ago. The other day he messages me. He was like, hey, man, I just rewatched that movie again. It still holds up. It's so fucking great. And that'll happen every now and then. Like I'll hear from someone. Like there was some guy who was doing Instagram art, like daily art around October. This is probably October 2020. And he was drawing all of these horror icons. So he'd done Jason Voorhees and he had done Freddy and Pinhead and Leatherface and all those guys, right? All of a sudden, somebody messages me and says, hey, look at what this guy just did. And it was me from the movie Sweatshop, not promoting it, but I was like, what the fuck? Like, this guy knows the movie that I fucking starred in, like, at this point 15 years ago now, because we shot it in 2007. I'm like, what the fuck is my life? This is just weird to me. I mean, yes, it's out in the world. Like, of course there's going to be people that are fans. Yeah. It's weird. It's fucking weird.
Do people try to solicit you to buy your underwear and clothes?
Not that yet, but I have had some pretty fucking cool messages from ladies taking photos of themselves in front of a screen, like a 42-inch screen of my fucking hairy ass in that movie.
Yeah.
And they're like topless, and I'm like, hello. Like, that's pretty fucking cool.
That is. But man, it's strange, man, because people were like, "Oh, hey, ratings are in. 30,000 people watched last week, and then blah blah blah, this, that, the other." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, cool." I'm like, "How many million?" They're like, "Millions." I'm like, "Cool. Can I hold $15 till fucking Tuesday, dude?"
Yeah. And meanwhile, you know, just trying to scrape together 2 fucking pennies to make your next movie is just, it's heartbreaking.
The costume that I wore, actually in Jake's film, that's not even out yet, is on a fucking mannequin on display. Like, I'm like, that's so fucking cool.
Yeah. This dick is selling the costume that I bought. He's made more money off this fucking movie than I have.
Well, even the prop that I kept, that I used in the movie, I'm like, I call up Jake. I'm like, "Jake, you know I love this stuff more than anything." He's like, "Yeah," but I'm like, "Well, somebody just offered me this for it, so I don't have it anymore. I know it has sentimental value, and I loved it, but I was like, it's hard times, man." I was like, "It's in a good place. It's in like a box on a shelf. Everybody can enjoy it now." I try to sell it to Jake that I sold it. So,
and you know, it's funny you mentioned, you know, props and shit. Like, I recently had my heart broken. Stacey Davidson, the director of Sweatshop, the weapon that I used in Sweatshop is this gigantic anvil on the end of a sewage pipe. It's actually foam rubber and PVC pipe. However, it unfortunately is no longer with us because Stacy had a storage building, and I can't remember if someone broke into it or if he got behind on the payments or something and somebody bought it at auction or whatever. Somebody got that fucking hammer.
Oh.
And so, you know, people, you know, I still get people ask me like, "Hey, do you have the hammer?" And I'm like, unfortunately, nobody that we know does. It is out in the world. You know, if someone didn't fucking destroy it, you know.
Yeah, probably somebody that don't even fucking know.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I mean, because, you know, I keep thinking like, we were all excited about the film, and it came out way better than we, you know, thought it would. You know, while we were working on it, we knew it was going to be fucking special, and we did all kinds of cool shit with it. And then, you know, we got released, and we've got fans, you know, but we're still all, you know, working day jobs and stuff. And it's not like we set the world on fire.
Right.
So, but the fact that someone out there who doesn't know a fucking thing about the movie potentially has that hammer is heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, especially because like we went around to a bunch of different conventions and stuff and had a booth built with a mannequin. You know, you mentioned a mannequin. That reminded me, like, my entire costume was on that mannequin. Like, the actual costume I wore in the movie. And so we would take it around all these conventions and set up, and so everybody fucking saw it and, like, took pictures of it and whatnot. And so the idea that some jackass is out there who doesn't know a fucking thing about the movie that came across that hammer, and I know they probably fucking destroyed it. Like,
yeah.
Like, I would hope that a movie prop collector is the one who wound up with it.
Yeah. But
I mean,
I would venture to say most movie prop collectors are not breaking into storage buildings.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Although, now that we've heard this...
Maybe someone out there hears it and fucking says, "Oh shit, I didn't know what I had." You know, contact me. Fuck.
Yeah. If you found this, just call.
Yeah, right.
Shoot us an email.
Oh, if only. If only.
Yeah. All right, gentlemen. Well, it has been an hour, so we have to wrap this up. And I really hate to say that because
I know, right?
This has been a lot of fun, man.
Jeremy, you got to come back one day.
Yeah, man, anytime. I mean, now that I'm, you know, hopefully, you know, June and July are going to be busy, obviously, with the film. But once we're done with that, man, I'm going to be a fucking promotional whore and doing as many of these as I possibly can until I fall over dead.
Yeah. Oh, well, I'm thinking about taking a day off in a couple weeks, so I'll send you my login info. Just don't tell Tony it's you. And you...
He'll never know. He'll never know.
All right, so this is the part of the show where we give you 1 minute, 60 seconds to plug anything you want. I don't care if it's a movie. I don't care if it's Billy Bob's Barbecue down on the corner. This is all for you, my friend. And at the end of 60 seconds, if you are still going, I hate to say it, but I have to mute you. So you have 60 seconds, my friend.
All right, let's do this.
Are you ready to go?
Yeah.
Ready?
Right. Tony, call it.
Go.
All right, so everybody, I've been talking about being a Texploitation flick maker. I'm in the middle of pre-production on a brand new action exploitation flick called Hellfire. We start production June 20th. We're still raising funds. We've got an Indiegogo out there right now. If you go and search for Hellfire Grindhouse Exploitation Film, you will find us. We are looking for people to give us money for our food because we're all starving artists. And you can also check out my Vimeo page. It's vimeo.com/FWOW. And you can find me on Facebook at First Week of Winter Films. That's my production company page. Or you can find my actor director page, which is Jeremy Sumerall, Texploitation Flickmaker. That's exploitation with a T on the beginning. Yeah, that's pretty much it. We're gonna have a fucking blast come June, July. We've got a lot of fucking cool people, a lot of indie film stalwarts, and yeah.
Oh, look at that!
You got it.
Booyakasha!
So how stressful is that?
It's rough, man. 'Cause I get tongue tied really fucking easy. Really fucking easy. Like, I can't even remember the fucking Indiegogo actual website. It's just, go search for it. Fuck it. Just fucking go. Just
fuck it, you'll find it. Just go through.
Trust me. Just find me on fucking Facebook. I'm a fucking promotional whore. I'll talk my fucking ear off, you know?
Oh. See, and that's why we did that's why we have this formula.
That's great.
Yes.
It's awesome, though. I mean, because it gets so fucking boring hearing people just drone on and on about some fucking fabulous and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, fuck you, man. Like, show me some tits. Like, fuck.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's always the same fucking question. It's always the same fucking questions, and it just drags on and on. It's like, dude, if you want to hear that stuff, go over to those podcasts. I know that sounds shitty, but the thing is, here you get to know the real person.
Yeah. Well, in my experience too, like I've wound up booking a lot of appearances in a very short time before. I haven't done it so much lately because of various reasons, especially because I'm in pre-production and shit.
Right.
But once we're in post, it's gonna be a different story. But I've done a lot of, like, I'd say 5, 6, 7 podcasts within like a couple of days of each other.
Oh, shit.
And the first 15, 20 minutes are always the same.
Yeah.
You know, and that's no disrespect whatsoever on any of the appearances I've ever done. But it's always like, okay, tell me about you and how you got involved in it. I'm like, all right, cool. Let me rehash. Like, how can I say it in a different way that makes it interesting for me as much as it makes it interesting for one of these listeners, especially if there's anybody who has actually followed any of the stuff I've done. Right. If they hear me do, 5, 6, 7 appearances, it's all the same show up into a certain point, That's why I also like doing podcasts that have nothing to do with film. You know, like I've done podcasts on, polyamory and kink and sex and all that sort of stuff. And then I'm able to use my platform again to talk about stuff that matters to me, but also talk about it in the context of being a filmmaker. And, because people look at the stuff that I do and they're like, well, why do you just make movies about mindless boobs and blood? And I'm like, well,
because it's fun.
Number one, it's fucking fun.
Yeah.
But number two, it gives me a platform to talk about other things. And I may not always make films like this. I'm going to do that look, that's my bread and butter. That's that's where my audience is.
Yeah.
But, there's different stories up in here that I want to tell too, but yeah. So this has been a fucking blast. I thank you for fucking asking me on, Jake. It's
absolutely, brother.
Fucking cool.
Dude, it's great. I knew it would be. And yeah, Tony's right. We definitely need to have you on again.
Yes.
Anytime.
I would say post. We'll give you another minute to do that.
Yeah. Jeremy, yes. I do want to show some of your trailers on the TV show, if that's cool.
Yeah, man.
And you said the podcast to the Kinks.
Yeah.
I want those links.
Yeah.
I want those links. I want to hear that shit.
Yeah. I'll definitely fucking send you my episodes of that shit.
He lives in Tennessee, so he don't have no experience with nothing but sheep.
I have a fucking incredible friend who has a sex and kink podcast, and they're one of the fucking coolest, most genuine people I've ever met. And they've been very supportive of me in everything I do. They're actually going to come down and be a background extra in Hellfire. So I definitely would plug the fuck out of their podcast.
Yeah.
You know what? Go ahead. Plug them.
Yeah. So it's Unapologetic Sex with DG. DG stands for Dangerous Ginger. They're a sex worker, a sex positive. I'm drawing a fucking blank now. Sex therapist, sex counselor, et cetera, and yeah, they're just one of the fucking coolest people I've met. Actually, I haven't physically met them. We'll actually get to physically meet them on the set of Hellfire finally. But I did an episode with them. I think we recorded it in October and it finally came out in December or January or something. And it was one of the coolest fucking interviews I've ever done because it had nothing to do with film. It was all sex and kink and relationships and that sort of stuff. And we worked in some film stuff, but it was mostly about that aspect. And again, it's all in an attempt to normalize that sort of stuff. And take away the stigma of sex work and just sex in general,
That's
especially
awesome.
In the fucking Bible Belt where we fucking live, for crying out
loud.
loud.
This world fucking needs it, man.
It is.
All right, well, we got to call it a close, but I just want to thank you one more time, Jeremy. It has been a blast, man.
Pleasure.
This has been a lot of fun, man. A lot of fun.
Pleasure, Jeremy. So awesome to talk to you, meet you, man. And you are the fucking man.
Thank you, brother.
We'll see you guys next time.
See ya.
Peace.